Imagine a world where the gods are not distant myths whispered about in fading folk tales, but living forces whose footsteps echo in thunderclaps. A world where destiny is not a gentle suggestion, it is a command written before your first breath. Now imagine being born into that world, marked from infancy by a prophecy so powerful that it terrifies even kings. This is the world of Sanya, a world where lightning answers to bloodlines, where loyalty can shift like desert sand, where power is both a blessing and a curse. And at the center of it all is a young girl forced to ask the most dangerous question of all: am I meant to save my people or destroy them? Today, we're diving deep into Sanya, a bold, myth-infused fantasy that blends Yoruba cosmology with modern storytelling in a way that feels epic, intimate, and unforgettable. Sanya is written by Nigerian author and lawyer-turned-storyteller Oyin Olugbile. Published by Masobe Books, the novel quickly captured attention for its daring reimagining of Yoruba mythology, not as background folklore, but as a living, breathing force shaping politics, identity, and destiny. In 2025, Sanya won the Nigeria Prize for Literature, one of Africa's most prestigious literary honors, a recognition reserved for works that redefine the landscape of storytelling on the continent. What makes Olugbile's writing stand out? A lyrical, almost poetic narrative voice. Deep cultural grounding in Yoruba cosmology. A bold centering of women in mythic spaces traditionally dominated by men. And a fearless exploration of power, especially female power. But this isn't just a cultural statement. It's a story. A gripping, emotional, war-filled, prophecy-driven story. So now let's walk through Sanya's journey. The journey of Sanya 1, the birth of a child marked by destiny. Sanya is born into royalty, into a kingdom where lineage determines power, and power determines survival. She is not born alone. She has an older brother, Dada, frail, sickly, and fragile from the start. While Dada struggles physically, Sanya arrives with an aura that unsettles even the elders. There are whispers. Whispers of a prophecy. Whispers that this child will either become the salvation of her people, or the spark that reduces their world to ashes. From her very first breath, Sanya does not belong to herself. She belongs to destiny. And that duality defines her life. She is hope. She is threat. She is miracle. She is catastrophe. 2. Tragedy and orphanhood, the making of resilience. But destiny doesn't wait politely. Tragedy strikes early. Sanya's parents die, leaving her and Dada vulnerable in a world that respects power more than innocence. Royal blood becomes less of a shield and more of a target. And this is where Sanya begins to transform. Lost something profound to her. It strips away childhood. It sharpens her instincts. It forces her into responsibility. She becomes more than a sister. She becomes protector, strategist, survivor. Her bond with Dada deepens, not just as siblings, but as the last remaining pieces of their broken family. And through this bond, we see one of the novel's strongest emotional threads. Leadership is not about ambition. It is about sacrifice. 3. The awakening of power. As Sanya grows, something ancient begins to stir within her. Her powers awaken. And they are not subtle. They are tied to Sango, the Yoruba god of thunder, lightning, fire, and justice. Sango thunder becomes more than sound. Lightning becomes more than weather. It becomes inheritance. But here's the catch. Her powers are not clean gifts. They are unpredictable, dangerous, emotional. They respond to fear, to anger, to grief. And every time she uses them, the prophecy looms larger. Is she proving she is the savior, or confirming she is the destroyer? This is where the novel shines, not in flashy displays of magic, but in the psychological cost of power. Because what happens when you are afraid of yourself? 4. Power creates enemies. Power never exists in isolation. The moment Sanya's abilities become undeniable, factions begin to form. Some want to control her. Some want to eliminate her. Some worship her, some fear her. Rival kingdoms see her as a weapon. Political players see her as leverage. Enemies see her as an existential threat. And war erupts. Not just physical war, though there is plenty of that, but ideological war. What does it mean to lead? Who deserves power? Can prophecy justify violence? Sanya is pulled into battles that test more than her strength. They test her morality. She must decide, do I become what they fear, or do I become something greater? 5. Betrayal, loyalty, and shifting alliances. As conflict intensifies, alliances begin to fracture. Friends become uncertain. Advisors reveal hidden motives. Trust becomes a luxury. This section of the story feels almost political in tone, a reminder that kingdoms fall not just from external enemies, but from internal cracks. Sanya learns a painful truth: leadership is lonely. And sometimes the hardest battles are not against enemies, but against doubt. 6. The War Within, Destiny versus Choice. At its heart, Sanya is not just about mythology or war. It is about agency. Can destiny be rewritten? The prophecy claims inevitability. But Sanya refuses to accept that her story is already finished. Her struggle becomes deeply internal. Am I defined by what was spoken about me? Or by what I choose to become? Is fate a chain? Or is it a test? This tension gives the novel emotional weight. Sanya's greatest fight is not with swords or lightning. It is with identity. The novel asks a question we've all wrestled with. Are we bound by expectations? Whether those expectations come from family, society, culture, or prophecy, can we carve a different path? Sanya's journey mirrors our own struggles with labels and limitations. And what makes this book so compelling is how Yoruba cosmology feels alive, not frozen in the past. The gods are not relics. They are present forces shaping politics, relationships, and power dynamics. The narrative bridges ancient tradition with modern storytelling techniques, creating something that feels epic yet accessible. Why Sanya Matters. Sanya is not just fantasy. It is cultural reclamation. It is myth told through a feminine lens. It is power explored through vulnerability. It is destiny questioned through courage. In a literary landscape hungry for authentic African fantasy, Oyin Olugbile delivers something rooted, bold, and unforgettable. Sanya is flawed. She is powerful. She is uncertain. She is fierce. And that makes her real. Now I want to hear from you. Do you believe destiny is fixed or flexible? How do you feel about myths being retold through female perspectives? If you carried a prophecy that could destroy your world, would you embrace your power or run from it? Drop your thoughts below. If this deep dive into Sanya moved you, inspired you, or made you curious to explore more African mythological fantasy, like this video. Share it with fellow readers. And subscribe to BloomShelf Hub for more rich cinematic summaries of African and world literature. Let me know in the comments if you'd like more stories rooted in Yoruba mythology, or if there's another African fantasy novel you want covered next. Until next time, remember, sometimes destiny isn't about what was written. It's about what you dare to rewrite.